RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. I know everything's looking weird, sounding weird. Let me know how it is. I got a new camera, and it's sounding very muffled. Fuck this shit, man. Oh my god. All right, guys. I need a goddamn producer. My producer's asleep behind me, as you can see. My name is Tara Devlin. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully it doesn't sound bad. So my producers on the chat will let me know. Yeah, I bought a new camera thinking it would be better, but who knows? One day at a time. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. Yeah, my name is Tara Devlin. This is unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity, and we need that. Don't we need more of that? The sound is okay? Good. Thank you, Jim. It just sounds very muffled in my headphones. Wait. Hold on. Maybe I'll try these headphones and see if it's a problem of headphones. Hold on. I know. All right, yeah, this is what you get. Oh, it does sound better. Maybe it's my headphones. Okay, listen. It's good? You like it better, Winston? The quality, the color quality? Yeah, hopefully it's better. Hopefully I'll learn how to adjust it. One day at a time. I have to figure it out. All right. We have a lot to talk about, so I guess as long as the feet, it's all going through, that's everything else will fall into place. And I really thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for all your support. And if you're on any other platform, come on over to youtube.com/C for channel /Tarabuster to hang out with the greatest chat in American history. Which is probably, I don't know, American history is, I don't know how much longer American history will be. It's probably going to be a blip, considering everything that's going on. We're not even 250 years old, and we're swirling the bowl pretty rapidly. And I don't know, is there any democracy left to discuss? Jim says, no, there isn't. Until we do something about it. I mean, today, all right, we'll get into it. First, I just want to say thank you, Jim, right out of the gate for your super chat. As always, you keep me going, really, just psychologically and emotionally. It gets lonely in there sometimes, so I appreciate it. It really does help. And if you have the means, please become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin to keep the show going and growing. The show is also available on other independent liberal platforms like progressivevoices.com and what else? FYINation.com and APSradionews.com. You might want to check that out. And yeah, Verdant Square Radio, I believe. We're still there. I don't know. All right. I'm so aggravated today. More than other days. Well, probably around the same. I don't know. I live in New York. Of course. Well, just get ready, guys. The Supreme Court, this illegitimate Supreme Court, today, we knew we knew it was going to happen. They wiped their ass with, I mean, states' rights, right? So here in New York, we had restrictions on gun ownership. That's why we have a low rate of gun massacres here. And plus, I mean, we're a bunch of human beings packed in a small area in the city and in the boroughs too. So you had to show cause if you needed to conceal carry. Let's say you worked at a deli, or you were somebody that needed to make a bank deposit, or things like that. You were in fear for your life. for we're not a bunch of this isn't the wild freaking West. So, but that's what the Republicans are turning it into, and I'm sick of it, really, because it's the tyranny of the minority. Now, I don't know if you guys watched the January 6th hearing today. Well, I did all day, and it was great. I enjoyed it immensely, I must say, because I like that they're naming names. Except, what are the consequences? Perjury traitor Greene, Matt Gaetz. These people are walking free. Why is Steve Bannon still walking free, by the way? Right? Without, you could just be in contempt of Congress and go on your Nazi propaganda channel to foment an insurrection, to continue fomenting it, spreading the big lie. And that's what he's doing. Oh God, it just crossed my mind. I forgot to grab this. Oh God, I hate when I do that, because I made a mental note about this when I saw it. And because speaking of Steve Bannon, he made, I don't know, he was outside the court. I don't know why he was in the court. Whatever, who cares? But he gave a statement. First of all, just lock his ass up, for one thing. And while he was talking, he said he was talking about the midterms and what they're going to do in the midterms, how they're going to take back power and they're going to lock everybody up. And he said it's going to be like it's going to be a landslide. Here we go. He said it will be a massive blowout like 1932. Let me show you. Let me get myself out of the way there. This piece of dirt, Steve Bannon.
And we're winning everywhere. We're going to get 55 to 60% of the Hispanic vote this November. We're going to get 50% of the African American male vote this November. We're going to have a blowout win. We're going to win 80 to 100 seat pickup in the House of Representatives. We're going to win the Senate. We're going to win school boards. We're going to win. We're going to throw out these Soros-backed DAs. We're going to win state legislatures. We're going to win all the secretaries of states that are running. We're going to win the governorships. We're going to win the state legislatures. This is going to be a massive blowout like 1932. You're witnessing right now a political realignment like 1932. And we will govern for 100 years after we win 100 seats. You saw it last night.
Do you want to govern as a one-party kind of total government? Do you want to destroy the Democratic Party?
No. Okay. First of all, let's get this clear. What is he talking about? This is going to be a massive blowout like 1932. What happened in 1932? That was the first time that the Nazis made, right here from Wikipedia, the Nazi Party, 1932, made significant gains and became for the first time, became the largest party in the Reichstag. That's what he's talking about. What else what's the reference? Is this something on the top of everybody's head? In 1932, we're going to have a blowout like in 1932? What happened in 1932 here? Did the Republicans... He's talking about the Nazis. He's a fucking Nazi. Open Nazi. They are Nazis. They're openly Nazi. I don't know. I can't even repeat it enough. And they're proud of it. That's what they call themselves, the proud pricks. They're Nazis. They're fascists. They're goddamn white supremacists. They're Nazis. And there's a new documentary on Netflix about how people fall into down the rabbit hole on the web and get caught up in all kinds of bullshit. And there's one episode about a girl who got involved with one of these fucking Trump Nazi regime thing. Not the one of the brown shirt brigades. Not that. I think it was it was the Project Europa or something. That's what it's called. Yeah, but these are all Trump support. They're the ones who organized the Unite the Right rally. But they're Nazis. They're open Nazis. And we better be very I don't know. I don't even know what to do at this point. They are rolling back our rights as citizens. They're attacking women's rights. They're attacking decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. They're attacking the social compact, the body politic. They're attacking anybody who's not them. And I'm goddamn sick of it, really. So this Supreme Court ruling, first of all, I'm like, okay, just let me roll back for a second with looking at Steve Bannon. What? Would they fucking lock him up already? Where's the cops? Where's the Justice Department? There he is. Merrick the Meek. He's right out there in the open. Take him in for questioning at least. Do something. These effing traitors are running around fomenting insurrection and lying. And I'm sick of it. I'm really goddamn sick of it. I'm sick of the tyranny of the minority. Anybody else? So when the ruling came down from this freaking-legitimate Supreme Court, yet again, what did I called my senator. I called my representative. What do you do? I said, like I say on the show, I'm sick of the tyranny of the minority. How much longer are we going to take it? How much longer will we have this fascist boot on our neck? They are a minority party. They represent fewer people. They have a minority ideology. And they receive fewer votes, but they still get to rule this effing country? How many times do we have to say no to them? You know, it doesn't seem to matter, though. And then they run around like they're the fucking victims. They need to be ashamed and embarrassed. They're not even embarrassed that they're traitors. They're still clinging to the big lie. Now, it was very nice. I appreciated listening to the January 6th committee today, naming names, talking about perjury traitor Greene and Mo Brooks and all these other, and Matt Gaetz. Well, first of all, why is Matt Gaetz still running around? He's a sex trafficker. All right? There's no low too low for these right-wing fascist pricks. I know I repeat myself. Let me see. I took a shot of a screenshot of all of the traitors here, who the January 6th committee named names. Come on, it's okay. It's a very loosey-goosey show today. Oh wait, I forgot to hit a button. This is what happens when you're doing a one-man band. You forget to hit buttons. And I see the chat is hopping and popping at youtube.com/C for channel /Tarabuster. Thanks so much, guys, for hanging out. If I wouldn't be here without you, really. Who the hell would want to? I mean, I'd rather go hide under the covers and cry a little bit. You know, that's how I would spend my Thursday night. Instead of on the show, I'd be like, I need to cry. Don't you need? I feel like I need a nice cry. Where the fuck is it? See, I do prepare, and then shit just goes awry. Why can't I find this screenshot? I took a screenshot of everybody's names. They put it up on the corporate media, and I was like, oh, let me grab that. So I had it on the tip of my tongue, but no, I can't find it. Here we go. Let's see. Members of Congress who sought pardons from Trump: Scott Perry, Louis Gohmert, Matt Gaetz, Mo Brooks, Andy Biggs, and perjury traitor Greene. Of course they did. And, you know, Matt Gaetz and perjury they do their treason tour. You know, how does this stop? How do we get out of this? You know, make Nazis afraid again. Make racists ashamed again. Put the traitors in their place where they belong. And right before I went on air, unfortunately, they're being emboldened. I saw here's an article, and it's pretty heartbreaking. Let's see. I had it right here. It's the Long Island Library removes LGBT books from and all pride displays from books in the children's section. Okay, now this bullshit about grooming, it's insidious, because who's grooming who here? We're being groomed for fascism. We're being groomed to treat other human beings like shit. We're being groomed by a bunch of fascists to be afraid of each other, to hate each other, to be entrenched in ignorance, to continuously be at each other's throats. I don't know how many times we have to fight the same battles, though. Same battles again and again and again. Now, of course, they attack trans people. You know, the same battles about grooming is it's all about trans. I got to tell you another story though, but of something that happened to me personally. Well, online, but here from Long Island. A library on Long Island has voted to remove all pride displays as well as pride-related books from its children's section. Like, what the fuck is wrong with pride? It's not about sex, you filthy-minded scumbags. But that's what they want to say. You know, it's like if you tell your little baby, mommy and daddy got married, you're not telling them, yeah, I really fucking banged her good on our wedding night, are you? It's not about sex. It's about decency and diversity, the diversity of human experience, and just being a human goddamn being. Being a decent person. Valuing people, respecting people in the very least. If you can't respect them, shut your fucking mouth and walk away. That's it. But they can't help themselves. They're grooming the entire society to be just as sick as they are. They're very sick people, and it is a mental disease. Conservatism is a mental disorder. That's why they constantly say, liberalism is a disorder. Tell me, let's get specific. What's the disorder? Point it out. What is the disorder of the disease in liberalism? I could tell you what's wrong with conservatism. The small minds, the large amygdalas, the fear, the inability to share society with people who aren't just like you, the racism, the need to cling to assault weapons, to go to fucking Walmart. Are you sick? Yes, you are. Be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. The inability to live and let live. You can't help it, right? Republicans, conservatives, they just can't help but shove their illiberal, disgusting lifestyle down everybody's throats. Now, I don't give a shit if you are conservative, but why do you got to shove it down our throats? Why do you got to flaunt it? We all have to respect you? Sure, go off and masturbate into an assault weapon. Have 19 kids and counting. Who cares? No one's stopping you. No, we're not telling you to, you have to go to a gay pride event. The least you can do is shut your filthy mouth. But they can't do that. They have to make the entire society just like them. Ugly and small and fearful and stupid and disgusting. I mean, look at their con man standard bearer. I saw a tweet and it really summed it up. It's like somebody took all of the worst, most disgusting things and scraped them off the floor and poured them into a hot dog skin and called it Donald Trump, and there it is. That's what it is. It's like every worst thing, every horrible thing, every horrible personality trait, all wrapped into one filthy pustule of greed. And they got an entire greed-centered apparatus propping it up. But people who just want to live their lives, they want to take this small period of time that they're alive, and they want to have a marriage contract with somebody that has the same peepee, or they want to, live their authentic life somehow. These Republicans just can't help it. They have to stand in the way, as they have for time immemorial. Just like when the founders rebelled against the crown, and they were like, oh, hell no, this is our natural lord. You can't upset the natural order of things. They are incapable of functioning in a free democratic society. How long have I been saying that? They just can't do it. That's why they have to be. We must make them a permanent minority party, because they can't handle it. This is what happens when they're in charge. And they are a minority. They're a minority. But they act like they have a freaking mandate for this shit. Nobody wants their shit. But then people it's terrorism. That's what it is. So a library on Long Island votes to remove all pride displays as well as pride-related books from children's section, because they won't be happy until kids who are gay, because you better believe in the Long Island school there are gay kids, there are trans kids that are all of a sudden think like there's something wrong with them. So they maybe, as they grow up, because they're grooming the rest of the kids to be a bunch of assholes like Republicans are, then that's the kind of hostile environment they'll grow up in. So they'll kill themselves and things like that. They'll turn to drugs, they'll kill themselves. And, this is what they're doing. They're grooming society to suck, as usual. I mean, imagine a world where people live and let live, where people value diversity, the diversity of human experience. Oh, they hate that. Oh, trust me, they do. They do. And they are proud about the fact that they hate diversity. They think it's a weakness because they're sick. So I just want them to go to a desert island where go secede on a desert island, get the fuck out, take your con man with you, and then you can live and, shoot each other. Go have your Afghanistan-like society with Jesus. Just a little bit more Jesus-y. So the Smithtown Library Board of Trustees voted 4-2 on Tuesday to ban any and all displays related to LGBT pride from kids' areas at Smithtown Library buildings, a move that was met with a fierce backlash and call for action by advocates. Yeah, because what is so terrorizing or terrible in general, teaching kids about being, the diversity of human experience? No one is, it's like we have to constantly fight these fucking battles. No one is making anybody gay by telling people that there are gay people in the world. What you're doing is making decent people capable of functioning in a diverse society that aren't assholes, that get to have their best life. They get to learn how to live and let live. They don't grow up in a little myopic shell of fear, hate, and division. And God forbid they are gay, then they don't turn to want to kill themselves. Or they don't turn into a Republican fucking asshole, inflicting their manias on everyone. The New York Library Association slammed Smithtown's move, calling it a direct violation of the New York Library Association's commitment to intellectual freedom and the freedom to read that libraries are entrusted to uphold. It's symbolic annihilation. That's what it is. Because when you symbolically annihilate someone, then you can literally annihilate them. And, one step forward, 2 steps backwards for these fucks. The organization reaffirmed its commitment to stand alongside the LGBTQ community, especially our LGBTQ youth. Yeah, like it or not. Fascists, they exist. We exist. I'm not youth anymore, but, I was at one time. And I sat in churches while priests who were probably diddling young boys condemned me to hell. As a child, I listened to this shit. And I was like, who are these gay people? I remember thinking, like, oh, God, if I ever meet one of them, I didn't know what the fuck they were. Then I was like, holy shit, when I got old, when I realized they're talking about me. It was, it just added to my self-loathing. My desire, I was like, I made a commitment then. I will never, ever, ever talk about it. I will never, I will never, ever admit it. So then I went on, hating myself. And hiding in drugs and shit like that. I'm lucky I survived that kind of bullshit, that upbringing. The repression and the hypocrisy, of people who proclaim love. But there's no love there. There's just hate and conformity. And God forbid you live and let live. God forbid you are who you are. Just throw your ass out. You're not, it's like you're not one of us. Sick. These people are sick. Yeah, LGBTQ youth utilize libraries across the state as a refuge to foster their love of learning and their authentic selves. Well, God freaking forbid. Not their God, their very sick God. They have a very sick God. I don't know who this fucker is, but he is just a giant version of themselves, which is not a very, they project all of their sickness onto this cloud being, just sort of like how Republicans in general hide behind like C.J. Pearson, or their diamond and silk to hide as human shields for their bigotry. It's the same thing. They hide behind the cloud being, this giant cloud man, who knows everything. He loves you, but he's very jealous. I never understood that too. Well, you have a very jealous God. Well, that's a kind of a petty emotion, isn't it? Sick bastards. Our public, so Governor Kathy Hochul writes, tweets, for many LGBTQ kids, libraries are one of the few spaces where they will be welcomed and affirmed for who they are. Our public spaces should be accepting of our young people, not rejecting of them. To LGBTQ New Yorkers, we stand with you, we support you, and you are welcome here. I can't believe we even have to say that, right? That people have to tweet that. But look at where we are. And the New York Library Association tweeted, libraries are for everyone. New York Library Association condemns the Smithtown Library Board of Trustees resolution to remove pride displays and books. Why don't you burn them, too? Right? Do it. Just cut to the chase. Stop kidding yourselves, you freaky fascist bastards. Because no matter what you do, there will still be gay youth. There will still be gay youth who grow into gay adults. And there will still be gay people, no matter what. Whether you remove displays or not. But what you're doing is condoning bigotry. But what else can we expect here in the United States of Serfs and Lords in 2022? I'm sure there are plenty of books in there on how to murder somebody with an assault weapon or something. Because you can't, right? It's you don't want to groom them. I'm sure there's lots of death, though, all over the library, and many stories about death. And not that I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. Look at look at yourselves. Library officials didn't immediately respond, blah, blah, blah. But the director, Robert Lusk, Lusak, told Newsday that at least 29 books are affected by the ban. They include a history of the AIDS memorial quilt. Can you believe that? These are the books that they banned. The history of the AIDS memorial quilt, a picture book called Pink is for Boys, and a book called Pride Puppy. Well, that's a bridge too far. Pride Puppy? You want fascist puppy. You want jackboot puppy. Disgusting bastards. Because, there are kids who are gender non-conforming. There might be young kids, young boys who are more, they want to play with dolls. They want to paint and draw and dance, and they don't want to play football. Things like that. I had friends like that when I was growing up. Boys. I was a tomboy. I didn't want to play with dolls. But they made me. Didn't make me a straight girl. All it did was make me feel ashamed. My mother used to make me play with Barbie dolls. Okay? And I was like, get the fuck out of here, bitch. In so many words. My mother bought me all these, she inflicted Barbie dolls on me. Did it change me? No. But it said everything about her. The problem was hers, not mine. Conform to Barbie, to playing with Barbies. which I proceeded to cut Barbie's head off. And then I played Haunted Barbies. Okay? That's how it ended up. Because what was I going to play? Let's Go to the Dance? I had no interest in that shit. Ken was in a house, and then the doorbell rang, and Barbie's head came to the door. Because it was haunted. Right? I mean, what was I supposed to do? Ding dong, let's go on a date. Let's go to the movies, Barbie. No, I'm sorry, that was not for me. It was never for me. But that's what happens when you live in a repressed, fucked up Catholic household, I guess. My mother was a nun. What do I expect, right? What are you going to do? She just wanted to, like, smash my spirit, I guess. Like, I'm having this. Yesterday was my mother's birthday. I mean, she's no longer with us. And I obviously, I've had a lot of therapy. I'm not angry about it still. Am I? Am I angry? No. I'm just talking about it. I'm just saying. I'm not angry about it. It is what it is. That's life. I understand it now, At the time, it was very frustrating. And it was really, I didn't like feeling like I was an outsider, But I couldn't help it. What are you going to do? My sister was normal, quote unquote. She liked normal things. She liked boys. Dresses, girl things, fucking dance, all that shit. I didn't like that shit at all. But never. I liked playing baseball and catching frogs and shit. Not doing anything to the frogs, just catching them and playing with them. And releasing them back into the wild. Oh, God. Anyway, the library's bigoted move to remove the books and pride displays enraged members of the LGBTQ community in Suffolk County, where over 100,000 LGBT residents reside. Oh, well, they should just shut their fucking mouths, right? Because the Proud Boys might come and start screaming at them. Like, here, I just saw this this segment, a local news segment. Come on. Where's my eCam?
County residents expressing concerns after protesters showed up at a Pride Storytime event at Pine Valley Library last night.
Celeste Smith joins us now live in the studio with more. Hi, Celeste. What are people saying happened last night?
Hi, Hannah. Community members, local church groups, and the Proud Boys stood outside of yesterday's Pride Storytime event at Pine Valley Library that was being held for children ages 7 and under. Tuesday night's Storytime event included books featuring LGBTQIA+ families and arts and crafts. In order to attend, children had to be accompanied by an adult, and pre-registration was required. A parent who attended the event with their 2 children says they felt unsafe when entering the library because of protesters yelling at them for attending the event. Among those protesters, the Proud Boys.
I came to Pride Storytime with my 2 kids. My 7-year-old is gender creative. We came in, there were protesters, they were probably about 15, and they were very vocal. They yelled at me, they yelled at my kids. They told my kids they were going to hell.
These fucking bastards.
They told me I was a child abuser. They quoted scripture. We were escorted inside by a library employee.
The concerned parent says at one point, the protesters made their way inside the library.
It was scary. I told my kids, there are protesters here, and I'm going to hold your hands, and we're going to walk in because we're here for Pride Storytime. The library did a good job, but my kids were very, very upset about all the protesters. They were upset to be yelled at. My kids were excited about coming to their first Pride event.
The Cape Fear Proud Boys say they will never initiate a violent confrontation. The group issued a statement which reads in part, Pride events nationally have experienced a shift in focus from celebrating two consenting adults to introducing sexuality to small children. As concerned citizens, we will continue to utilize our First Amendment rights to ensure public events for children are age appropriate. Ashley Daniels with the LGBTQ Center of the Cape Fear Coast was at the event and says she believed protesters were trying to intimidate Storytime attendees.
People deserve to feel safe when they utilize the public's resources, when they utilize the public library. I think that children deserve to feel safe as they're learning, as they're developing. And I think that individuals get to determine who they are. And so no one gets to determine, no matter how they feel about a lifestyle, no one gets to determine for someone else what they have the right to be.
New Hanover County Sheriff's Office released a statement regarding protesters entering the library, saying in part, a Sheriff's Office supervisor entered the library and positioned himself between the private room holding the reading and the demonstrators. The supervisor instructed the demonstrators that they were not allowed to enter the room. At no time did sheriff deputies witness, nor did any library staff report any of the demonstrators causing a disturbance within the library or try to enter the private room that was holding the reading. To read each of the full statements from the Cape Fear Proud Boys, New Hanover County, and the Sheriff's Office, you can head to WWAY.
Shut up. Who cares? Read their statements. Call them the fascists they are. That's the other thing. The Proud Boys. They're a bunch of fascists, and their leaders are now under indictment for seditious conspiracy against the United States. So, but they want to make sure the lessons are age appropriate. This is the new bullshit they're saying. As if that father, who he says has a gender, how he put it? I don't remember, but it was good the way he put it. Gender non-conforming, I'll just say, child, and trying to support his child, as you should, as a decent parent, instead of, beat the gay out of him or her? So they're trying to make a safe and welcoming, loving place for everyone. And these fuckers are outside screaming at them, saying, we want to make sure it's age appropriate, because they have sick minds. Well, why don't you turn off every TV show or make no references to any kind of coupling, gay, straight, or otherwise? Because your mind's in the gutter. If you say that you want to talk about princess and princes, well, you better talk about how they fuck each other, I guess. You want to make sure it's age appropriate. So we're not going to talk about anything? Because they are sick. To them, it's sex because they want to be banged. They want the arms of a big, strong man around them, the Proud Boys. There's no doubt in my mind. That kind of homophobia, they have done study upon study upon study, that it stems from their own self-loathing, that they're gay and they lack the courage to live authentic lives. So that's why they behave in the world like fascist pricks. So they project their manias outwards instead of getting the help they need, because getting help and seeking help for your sickness requires courage. And that's something that they don't have. They are devoid of courage. They're cowards. They're losers. And they really are the biggest losers of society. Show me a fascist society that works. Right? Show me a fascist society where people are happy and everyone is, just getting along. See, according to them, we will all get along when certain people are dead. That's their ideology. I'm not making it up. They call it the day of the rope. As long as they're in charge, one of these days, everyone's just going to get dragged out of their house and be hanged. if you're gay, if you're somebody who has darker pigment and don't know your place, and well, you know, if you're a bitch woman who doesn't know her place, or liberals, of course, normal people, will all be hanged. And then everyone will be happy, I guess. I mean, what a terrible world they live in. If they weren't so filthy and disgusting, I would feel sorry for them. And I kind of do feel sorry for them, but they're dangerous. And this is how it's not even how it begins. This is how it's going, right? It's already begun. And when I called Schumer and Gillibrand and AOC today, because they're my representatives and senator, I was just like, how much longer are we going to take it? This is what happens when Democrats don't fight back. It gets worse. It's never enough for them. How much do they want? They want it all. They don't want democracy. They want to roll back democracy. They don't give a shit about democracy. Isn't that clear? If they cared about democracy, they would care that they don't have a mandate, that they are a minority, that they receive fewer votes. When you so-called win the election by receiving fewer votes, you don't walk around like you're the fucking cock of the walk. Like you got a mandate to do your bullshit. You would want to bring the country together, but you don't. But they don't, because it's not about that to them. It's about fascism. And I don't care if you're a regular average Joe Republican, you're part of the problem. There's something wrong with you. You're in bed with Nazis and the Klan. All of you. For real. Whatever your problem is, it's there. Something is wrong with you. And honestly, I will, if you give me 10 minutes, if you're capable of honesty, I will get to the bottom of it, and I will bet you it's racism of some form. Bigotry in some form. Usually racism. And thank you, Irene, for your super chat. I'm sick to death of this coup we are living through and these maggots feasting on the flesh of this once great nation. Me too. And here's Tara Jr. So I don't know if you guys know this Neighbors app. Is it called? Oh, no, it's Nextdoor. I keep calling it Neighbors. And so I got on this Nextdoor app. One of the things about it, it's a decent app, but it's getting on my nerves too. But I'll tell you why. It's because the story I'm about to tell is the moral of the story. We'll just get to it right out of the gate. Is that Republicans destroy everything they touch. Here's Tara Jr. Here he is. All right. He's back. Mwah. All right, sit down. Sit down, kid. Sit. I'm pushing down. Sit down and relax. I'm losing my voice. Why? I don't know. So a couple of things happened. I joined this Nextdoor app. If you know about it, you sign up, you have to prove you're in your neighborhood, and and then you could people post things, it's your real name, and they post things that are going on in the neighborhood. It's been good for me, and I've gotten involved with a few animal rescues and things like that. So, saved a couple of kittens, stuff like that, which is good. And one of the things about the app is that it promotes civility. You're supposed to be nice to people, right? Which, okay, now you can see where we're going. Republicans just can't they can't manage that. It's too much for them, and they ruin everything. So a lot of the things that I look at on this app, like are animal stuff, queens, trap, neuter, return, stuff like that. People who are looking for help with that. And also, there was a hurt squirrel once. I took it to the Wild Bird Fund. That's good, right? But then a lot of the things that people post is, be careful, this happened, somebody stole my something or other like that. And so somebody posts a picture of here it is. Okay. That my husband's car got broken into and they stole $1,000 worth of equipment. I called 911 5 times and was waiting on the cops to show up. Still waiting 5 hours later. What's going on in New York? So people are like, I'm so sorry, that sucks, blah, blah, blah. Oh, fuck, I just swiped away. And so it's, of course, you could probably see where it's going. Then it devolves. That's what you get for defunding the police. All right? And I wrote, please tell me where the police have been defunded. Maybe you know something I don't. And other people are like, yeah, please let us know. Because the fact is, the fucking police have not been defunded. And I'm sick of it. But it's all over right-wing media. Defund the police. The stupid slogan. The stupid saying. A saying is not a policy. And so far, the fucking police have not been defunded. Okay? Nowhere have they been defunded. And in fact, if you're worried about crime, red states, the crime is way up in the fucking red states as compared to the blue states. But yes, crime is up all over the country, but it's up in the red states. That's the reality. You know what I mean? That is just the reality. But we know that reality and fascism don't ever mingle. Anyway, so this fucking guy, a couple of things happened that annoyed me. And so this person, Vasilos, Vasilos, Pylos, P-I-L-I-O-S. Of course, there's no picture of them. But then when I looked at their profile, they're reposting insurrection bullshit, right? Because they're a dumbass, clearly. So this fucking person was sending me links, and because that's how they argue. They argue with memes. They have nothing. So one of the links is 2 years old. He sends me a link. And the headline is, it's from New York City. So it's from the New York City website, the New York City government website. It's like, it's here. Now you can't, what happened? You can't see it. Stupid light's not working. In the face of an economic crisis, Mayor de Blasio announces a budget that prioritizes safety, police reform, youth services, and communities of color. That's supposed to mean they defunded the police. Now, I know it has a lot of trigger words in there for this fucking racist. Communities of color, most specifically. And then I read this and I was like, okay. Budget includes $1 billion in cost shifts to the NYPD while maintaining patrol strength, and protecting the safety of all communities. Now, this is a press release from de Blasio, so obviously they were proud of this. From the New York Police, NYPD savings, there will be reprioritized summer youth programs, education, social services, and shifts capital funding to parks and the youth and recreation centers while maintaining patrol strength. Okay? But, you know, the devil's in the details. So, according to this fucking moron, but shifting the budget. Now that you have a budget, this is what happens. And then you know, it changes all the time. You have different needs. That's not defunding the police. So nowhere, anywhere in the city have police been taken off the streets. And on top of it, this is a 2-year-old article anyway. So I was like, thank you for the 2-year-old article. It has nothing to do with defunding the police, but go fuck yourself. I didn't say that, but that's what I thought. And then I get another link. Okay? And, oh, God. He sends me this link of this, this article about and he said something about, I said, yeah, thanks for the 2-year-old article. I'm not sure what the point is, but I think I know where you're coming from, given all the trigger words like communities of color in the headline. I think you might have missed the whole thing about the cost shifts but while maintaining patrol strength. But not that it will matter, I'm sure. And then I said, here's another link from the archives, and it's absolutely relevant. And it's the link about how Fox News makes its viewers less informed than people who watch no news at all. So he's like triggered now, you know. Bing, bing. I keep my fucking phone. It's going bing, 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 because this son of a bitch keeps like sending me, so your denial is set in. So do you agree the police were defunded? No. Listen, keep voting for change, and you just call people racist. Okay, I mean, listen, honey. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And I have a large vocabulary. I have a very big brain. And there's many words that can be used to describe you. But if it's a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. You're a fucking racist. But that's what they think that's the word. We're just, oh, you're racist. No, don't take it as an opportunity to look at yourself. But anyway, so he sends me we'll get on the Supreme Court. I see you guys talking about it. And so he sends me this fucking link from the Post. Now, the New York Post is a disgusting propaganda rag. And 2 days ago, this was the headline. Oh, the stupid thing won't show the phone. Defund for thee, safety for me. So he sends me this link to a New York Post headline, which is, 2 days ago. What was happening 2 days ago? Nothing about the January 6th hearings. Nothing about, abortion, them sending women to back alleys to kill them. Nothing about that actually matters. Let's tickle racist funny bones again. And I was like, all right, well, what is this dumbass story about? Defund for thee. I just want to show you. Defund. Safety for me. And that's the whole right-wing trope. Oh, defund for thee, like everything for thee, not for me, because we're supposed to be elites, looking down on them. And still, though, this is why Rupert Murdoch is a cancer on society, on democratic society, because there is nothing, it has nothing to do with defunding anything. They just keep harping on it and harping on it and harping on it. It's like the big lie. It never stops, and it doesn't matter how many times you say that's not true. They will keep repeating it. So according to, I read this article. I'm like, what is this dumb bastard talking about? So here's the article from the New York Post. A left-wing state lawmaker who has pushed for cutting police funding first moved to the district she is seeking to represent in Congress because of safety issues, quote unquote, near the projects, quote unquote, in Harlem, prompted her to shack up with her tech bro, then fiance in the financial district. This is an article that's supposed to mean that the fucking police are defunded. It has nothing to do with anything. And then it goes into some salacious tabloid article about how this person who wants to represent a Harlem community in 2016 moved in with her fiance because and then gave a radio interview saying there were something. You understand what I'm saying? She's not even representing this community. And if she's saying that she wants to defund the police, they're saying she fled the neighborhood in 2016 to move in with her boyfriend. It's nothing but propaganda. They are shameless. And it's honestly, to me, it's infuriating. I hope it's infuriating to you because it has nothing to fucking do with anything. So they put out this headline, defund for thee and safety for me, about a left-wing person who wants to represent her community in Harlem fled in 2016 to move in with her boyfriend. But that was fleeing somehow. And this means that the police are defunded? Because they are confident. They can rest assured in the stupidity of the morons who buy the paper, who read the headlines. They don't read. They're not looking to be informed. They just want their large amygdalas tickled, their racism tickled. They want the cacophony, of the fascism to bounce around their empty heads. And so they could feel somehow like they're in this, they're in it together with their fellow fuck-ups, with their fellow fascists. And, everybody should be appalled about this. This isn't news. She gave an interview. I was actually robbed when I was living in Harlem with my boyfriend at the time. So this is an article. She's saying an interview from 2016. And 6 years ago, she gave an interview. Now, and this was the fucking front page of the paper. My boyfriend was already living there, so she moved in to the east side. But that's fleeing. 4 years later, blah, blah, blah. I mean, how stupid are people? And I mean, this has to stop. We have to stop as normal people, as Democrats, as progressives, as liberals, as patriots, as people capable of functioning in a democracy. We have to stop. We have to call these people out and just call them out for the scum that they are. Because this is nothing but fascist propaganda. And it's not even good fascist propaganda. I mean, they put it on the cover because they must be afraid of this person somehow. But in 2016, she recalled to a local outlet that there had been 2 frightening incidents in her around her apartment on 106th Street and 1st Avenue. Who fucking cares? This is 2016. Unreal, right? During their relationship, several pictures Segura posted of the pair on Instagram show them leading a luxurious lifestyle. Now, this is another thing that the fascists do in the New York Post and everywhere else. If you are a liberal or a democratic socialist in any way, and you, let's say, if you walk out of your house in something other than a potato sack, you're living a luxurious lifestyle and you're a hypocrite. Because according to them, we should all be eating dirt, and unless we're fascists who don't give a shit about anybody else but ourselves, then you can embrace your sociopathy. And see, the real problem with liberals is that they care about other people, and if you live a luxurious lifestyle and take a picture on Instagram at a night, well, she said several pictures posted of the pair on Instagram show them leading a luxurious lifestyle. They include meals at multiple Michelin star restaurants. Yeah, because you're supposed to eat dirt if you're a socialist, and also at the Trump Hotel. So I don't know what they were doing there. That's a little suspect. I mean, who wants to go home with salmonella and bed bugs? Right? Right? So they include meals at Michelin star restaurants, along with other fine dining spots. Of course, nobody ever hypes it up on Instagram. That's a clear and accurate depiction of everybody's. Oh, Tara Jr. He just fell. Hey, honey. What happened? What happened? You fell. You fell. You okay? All right. You fell, producer. You okay, buddy? Gravity for thee, not for me. Unreal, right? We're not sure what happened. Public records show that she also bought a Wall Street apartment with her fiancé. I mean, yeah, because they were supposed to live in a box on under a bridge, if they wanted to be authentic, I guess. While earning $75,000 a year as the chief of staff to a state assemblyman. Because, like I said, this is how fucking stupid these people are. If you're a democratic social, that's what I'm assuming this person is. That's why they go there with that. You're supposed to live. You're supposed to wear a barrel with some suspenders and eat dirt. When they're so authentic, the fascists, the way they don't give a shit about anybody else but themselves. If you care about other people, how dare you eat in a nice restaurant, right? Nice restaurants for me, not for thee, or thee and me. And it's all to ensure that dumbasses, because they're racist, continue to vote for their own demise as fascism takes over. Yeah, everybody will be in their place. And then they write how, it's not sure what happened because I guess they broke up. She changed her status on her website. And this from, he was my fiancé to whatever the hell. And that's the article the fucker, the moron from the Neighbors app sent me, or Nextdoor app, to prove to prove that the police have been defunded. And I just can't admit it. That's what he says. And the other thing that annoyed me about this, I'll get off the subject, but thank you for letting me share. But someone else, they were saying, I was at the Rite Aid or wherever the hell I was, and somebody just walked out with 2 cases of beer. That never happened, right? Ever before. And somebody wrote, keep voting for Democrats. Yeah, because thanks, Joe Biden. No one ever stole cases of beer before Joe Biden was president. And and I wrote back, see, this is the thing. And it's like the fuckers with removing the LGBT content from the library. And it's like the Proud Pricks, the closet cases, assaulting people at LGBT story time at the library. They want us to be intimidated. And they just can't help themselves, right? So even on the Neighbors app or the Nextdoor app, it's an app, you're supposed to be civil. I try to keep politics out of it until they write, keep voting Democrat. And I wrote back, yeah, thanks, I will. Because I would never vote. I would never hate my country enough to vote for a bunch of fascists. And somebody else wrote, I'm not a Democrat. And they're, of course, retired. And I said, well, enjoy Social Security and Medicare. You're welcome, Democrats. But you see what I'm saying? It's like everywhere. The thing I'm saying is everywhere we go, we have these people, these right-wingers. They don't know how to behave. They don't even know how to behave on the Nextdoor app, right? They can't help it. They lack the maturity to function on the Nextdoor app. They just can't shut their mouths. Ever. Keep voting Democrat. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with somebody walking out of a store with 2 cases of beer? When I was a kid, we stole some beer, whatever. It's like, has nothing to do. I think Reagan was president. Thanks, Reagan. But that's what they do. And they want people to be like embarrassed, ashamed, and they want to give the feeling or give the impression that they're everywhere. And then people are intimidated and they don't want to stand up and they don't want to fight back because they just don't want to get a hassle, but I want the hassle. I like the hassle. I you know what? I'll take the hassle because I can't sit there and let the stupidity lie on the floor and stink up the Nextdoor Neighbors app or whatever the hell I am. You know what I mean? It just is like enough. Like, shut up. And that's what I actually wrote that too. I said, here we go. Another example that Republicans can't even function. They don't even have the maturity to function on the Nextdoor app. Okay, what hope does democracy have at this point? It's true. And the reason they feel so emboldened, this is another thing. Who like, in general, it doesn't have to be that way. It's because of the pustules like Rupert Murdoch media and their, and fascist Fox News, turning them into a cult, really. It's like everywhere they go, they have to, they just can't help themselves. They have to bash Democrats. It's like, shut the fuck up. You can't, you're not even, there's no Nextdoor. You're not neighbors, right? It's like, don't vote Democrat. Like, shut up. And anyway, this is New York, too. Anyway, all right. Thank you, Richard W. Another great show, Tara. Thank you for letting me share. That's all I have to say. Thank you for letting me share about the Nextdoor app. Uh-oh. Now, there's a picture of a cat. Okay. It's true, though. It's what they have done. It's the Murdoch cancer turning this country into armed camps where Democrats, it's not just a political, you have differences of opinion on how to have an economically vibrant working class that works for everyone, right? With a tax system, a fair and equitable social safety net and tax system that that makes the rich pay their fair share, and a social compact that leaves no one behind. No, it's not that anymore. It's Democrats are demons. They're destroying America. But we never get the specifics either, right? So when that's another thing that just gets me crazy about the mainstream media. They never, ever ask follow-up questions like, okay, Democrats are destroying America. How? Because I'll give you a laundry list of what the Republicans are up to and including turning this country into an armed madhouse. Well, they've already done that. And making the American experiment as quaint as, I guess, they made the Geneva Conventions. Leaving everybody behind. Except for, the con man. All right. What's going on in the chat? Yes, the working class Republicans defending oil companies makes my brain hurt. Me too. So, all right. What was I going to talk about? The few things, of course, the January 6th, and also let's talk about the Supreme Court. That's the thing. We have so many problems. And when I spoke to, leaving a message for my representatives and senators, that's another thing that drives me crazy. I wonder if the oil lobby has to leave a message under 30 seconds when they want to call their representatives. I wonder. It's like beep. Nobody answers the phone. But here we have the filthy fascist Republicans, and this is what I said. It's to the machines of my local representatives. I said, how much longer are we going to take it? And also, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of enduring and living under the tyranny of the minority. And I said, I guess we're here in part because for some unexplained reason, Democrats just don't fight back. When Moscow Mitch pulled his dirty tricks to stop Merrick Garland, Merrick the Meek, from becoming a Supreme Court justice. And what did the Democrats do? Oh, well, they had a fucking year. This was a year before the election, and they had enough time. Yeah, they could have been fighting all along, but then once it happened, once it was solidified, when the con man who received fewer votes got to squat in the White House and stuff the Supreme Court with 4? How many people? What did he put on? Amy Coney Bitchface Barrett, a handmaid, a literal handmaid. Beer Bong Brett, Neil Gorsuch, and even Alito, who is they're all illegitimate. All of them put on the Supreme Court by less vote-getting Republicans. And the Democrats roll over. And what I said to my representatives was the Democrats needed to, and I hope they begin to, refer to the Supreme Court as the illegitimate Supreme Court. That's how you have to do it. Every time you get in front of a camera, you add that qualifier. If you mention the Supreme Court, if you mention one of these effing justices, you put the qualifier, illegitimate Gorsuch, illegitimate Amy Coney Handmaid Barrett, illegitimate beer bong, I like beer Brett. Because as you can tell, or as you hear, I'm sure, the Republicans, they're very good at propaganda. And they've already started, they haven't stopped, of course, but with their Democrats are trying to pack the court. Who's packed the court now? I mean, they talk about the hoppity-hop balls they're hopping around on, man. They got balls, baby. The Democrats are packing the courts. Democrats. That's why you can't let up. Every time they mention Amy Coney Bitchface Barrett, they have to call her illegitimate. The illegitimate Justice Barrett. The illegitimate Justice, well, even whatever. Justice Beer Bong. Am I wrong here? No, I'm not wrong. Because that's how you prime the American people into understanding that something has to be done. They're not going to, I mean, it's very difficult for the American people because there's a few things. One is that we are the least upwardly mobile. We're also, I don't know if we're still the second least informed. We used to be the second least informed population on the planet. I would imagine we're probably the first at this point. And people are overworked, and all they hear is whatever. Not everybody's connected to politics like we are and paying attention. The people are just out there working, and they hear, the same shit on corporate media. But they hear Democrats validating the court just by acquiescing, by calling. I mean, they should have been doing this from the start. It really gets on my nerves when I think about Obama. I understand that he was caught between a rock and a hard place, being the first person with darker pigment to be elected president in this racist ass country. So he had to be cool at all times. And but I have in my mind, whenever I think about that period of time with Moscow Mitch blocking him, not him, us, blocking the American people, just like Trump wanted to do by nullifying our votes, by nullifying the election, by wiping his ass with the majority of Americans who wanted his ass out of there. But that's what the Democrats should have been saying all along, that the Supreme Court is illegitimate. If they can't fight, if they couldn't prevent it from, if they couldn't prevent Moscow Mitch from packing the court, from stopping Merrick the Meek from being a part of the court, why do you go along with it? You're just like, oh, well, we lost that one, and everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Justice Gorsuch. No. Gorsuch, like Amy Coney Bitchface Barrett, like Justice Uncle Clarence Thomas. They have no honor. And what the fact that you don't say it. You know, they have no honor. I mean, especially, just think about Amy Coney resting bitch face Barrett. Now, I understand she's part of a cult. This is what's so frightening, too. They're in a Trump cult, of course, but they're in fascist cult. That's part of why they lack the fundamental maturity to function in a democracy. They have a personality disorder. But Amy Coney resting bitch face Barrett she's part of a cult that has to run everything by her husband. All her decisions have to be run by her husband, who also is a lawyer, apparently. And I mean, you can't tell me that she's not running everything by her fucking husband. And on top of it, she's got no honor. She didn't have to go along with it. This is how much these people have zero integrity. The way they behave speaks volumes about the fact that they are unfit. You know, one shining light, I suppose, in the January 6th hearings is that, okay, there are some Republicans that did the right thing here and there, you know, that stopped the coup, that wouldn't completely go along with the con man's coup, but many of them only did it when every other outcome was exhausted. Like Mike Pence, he tried. He called people. He tried to get, you know, he tried. He tried to figure out a way to help Trump with the coup. Am I wrong? That's right. Errol says, progressive Democrats need to be out there and up front more often. Absolutely. But all over, of course, you know. This is why I rail on the corporate media and ask for people to support the independent media and become a patron and whatnot at patreon.com/TaraDevlin, because I mean, come on. Has there ever been a segment on the corporate media where they talk about something that the Republicans are doing, some coup, something, a lie, a coup, where they don't fucking say both sides? Anybody? If you can find an example, I'd like to see it. Every goddamn day, on the far left and the far right, they constantly say it. They'll bring up the Proud Boys. They'll bring up the coup. Oh, it's just as bad on the far left. Really? Where? No one ever pushes back on the far left and the far right. Where's the far left, by the way? I know we have a far right because I've seen it. Marching with tiki torches. I've seen it. Storming the Capitol. I've seen it run over Heather Heyer. Where's the far left? Because, the Black Lives Matter movement, which the Republicans try as they might. This is how nefarious they are and how much they hate this country. Because they turn the Black Lives Matter movement into just like the coup. Because there were some protests. When many of those protesters, the violence during those nights were committed by right-wingers, by Proud Boys, who were arrested for false flags, because that's what they do. You know, liberals don't do things like that. We're not out there doing false flags. That's not I've been to a lot of meetings, and I've been to a lot of planning meetings about protests, and I've been to a lot of protests. I have never, none, have any of you guys on the chat, have you ever been to a meeting where people discuss who is bringing the zip ties, right? Or where we discuss, how about we do a false flag? No. We're too busy actually trying to make the world a better place, actually standing up. You know, truth to power, please. That whole truth to power is such bullshit, too. Because power doesn't give a shit about truth. Haven't we figured that out already? The fact is, as Fox News can attest or is testament to, power makes the truth. Telling truth to power, please. That's for suckers, frankly. Suckers think that we're speaking truth to power. No, we're not. Because power doesn't give a shit about truth. And what we need to do, I mean, what am I doing on this show? What we're trying to do, I'm not speaking truth to power on the show. I believe we're trying to, I mean, first of all, what are we doing here? I'm speaking truth to people who are reachable, I believe. You know, some people are not reachable, and I don't have an interest in them. Leave them behind. Leave them in their racist hidey holes, like the dumbasses on the Neighbors app or Nextdoor app. I know, I'm sorry, I keep saying it wrong. Because they are lost causes. Just like that guy, you know, sending me links to headlines and the stories have absolutely nothing to do with anything he's trying to prove, which just proves me right. It proves that I'm correct about them, about him and them in general, because they don't give a shit. They read the headline. It confirms their already preconditioned biases, and they work on their merry way. It doesn't matter how many times you debunk it, and you say, well, actually, that story is 2 years old, and nothing was defunded, and you know, there you go. And the response is, so you won't admit the police were defunded. It's unfucking real. They are hopeless. So we have to reach the people who are reachable. And what I want to do, I guess, on the show, what we try to do is fight. Get the Democrats to fight with the talking points that do reclaim. I mean, what do we talk about? Reclaiming patriotism. We have the right answers. We're the ones capable of functioning in a democracy. We need to reclaim patriotism, reclaim decency, dignity, democracy, and shove these fuckers into the trash bin of history where they belong. Where they're comfortable. They want to be there, you see. And the thing is, because they're not comfortable in a democratic society. That's clear. This is what, I mean, it's the open, dirty secret that Democrats have to not be afraid to tell. And this is what drives me insane. I guess I'm kind of just processing it, too, now. Because maybe that's really it. Because the Democrats, they are in denial. Many Democrats are in denial, especially the corporate Democrats. They need, what has to happen is we have to reclaim patriotism and call them out for who the fuck they really are. Say, look, there is a cancer. And it is called the Republican Party. They are a lost cause. There's no middle ground here. We have one party that's trying to have a functioning democracy. We have another party that's in the middle of a coup. And just because there are a few people that didn't go along with the coup 100%, that's not very comforting, is it? I don't know. Where are you going? What's going on the chat? I'm just talking over here, and everybody's like talking about ice cream. The supervising who's eating dessert? I ate a lot of dessert today. Myself. I was stuffing my feelings with dessert. It's okay. Wait, my stupid seat. My seat cover is falling off. Hold on. Oh, good. The producer is up on his perch. Producing. Look at him. He's so good up in his Anyway. Well, so apparently, I don't know if you saw earlier, Keith Olbermann, which he's 100%. I love Keith Olbermann. I miss his show. And I miss his rants. That's the kind of fight. That's the kind of spirit I appreciate. The Keith Olbermann, unapologetic, kicking their ass without apology. That's how it is. Why do you apologize for being on the right side of history, on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity? Don't apologize for being an actual patriot capable of functioning in a democracy. So, according to Newsweek, well, Keith Olbermann tweeted earlier when this New York abomination, when the illegitimate Supreme Court released their ruling, and hold on to our hats, everyone. Yes, we should. Trucker John says, Tara, you should make your own site and call it Neighbors. I should. And people will get confused with, well, maybe it'll only be me on there being confused, thinking I'm on Nextdoor. There should be a Neighbors app. Is there? There must be. Oh, this is another article I wanted to read. I sent it to myself. Let me send it to myself again. Because, see, we're producing the show, right? Live on the air. Hold on. Read. Oh, I always send myself links. Read on Tarabuster. And then when I go into my email, it all comes up. Read on Tarabuster. So I have my articles. Okay. So, Keith, and there it is. It came in. It has become, so here's Keith Olbermann. It has become necessary to dissolve the Supreme Court of the United States. I agree. Wait, here it is. The first step is for a state. The first step is for a state the court has now forced guns upon to ignore this ruling. Great, you're a court. Why and how do you think you can enforce your rulings? It's true. Isn't that Jackson did that? Okay, so we're not supposed to, we're not supposed to have the Trail of Tears. Now you enforce the ruling, right? So, according to Newsweek, though, everyone was pushing back. I didn't see that. Keith Olbermann is slammed for Twitter rant dissolving the Supreme Court. I didn't see anyone, slamming him except the fascists, of course. So, but it's all about the headline. According to this Newsweek article, political commentator Keith Olbermann is facing backlash. Really? after tweeting that what I just said has become necessary to dissolve the Supreme Court. The decision of the court to strike down a 100-year-old law which requires individuals to show proper cause in order to get a license and conceal carry outside the home is seen as a victory for Second Amendment proponents. Fuck you. I don't understand. So I guess everyone's their own well-regulated militia, as the army of one, the well-regulated militia of one. That's not well-regulated. You know what I mean? If you're allowed, any Joe Schmo is allowed to walk around with a gun. That's not a well-regulated militia. Very pesky, that first part of the Second Amendment, isn't it? But they ignore it. They simply outright ignore it. Justice Uncle Clarence Thomas, who authored the majority opinion in the ruling on New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, wrote, New York's proper cause requirement violates the 14th Amendment by preventing law-abiding citizens with ordinary self-defense needs, because we live in the fucking Walking Dead, right? According to Uncle Clarence Thomas. Now, try that by the Supreme Court. You see what they got for you. Try that around Uncle Clarence Thomas's house, right? But we're supposed to get on a subway. You know, safety for them, right? For thee, not for me, right, Uncle Clarence? The hypocrisy. Now, the state, according to Uncle Clarence and the rest of the fascists, they fix the facts around the policy all the time. There's no consistency in these fascist rulings, of course. So now that they're going to overthrow Roe v. Wade, they're gonna. So it's forget about states' rights. You know, the state of New York, we regulated guns. Sure, you want to have a gun in your house? Go play with yourself and your gun. Leave us out of it. But we don't want to live in the Wild West. Not anymore, thanks to this illegitimate court. So they want to shove their filthy, sick mind and opinions on everybody, who, even though they are a minority death cult with a minority opinion. You understand? This is like any tyranny. A tyrannical minority that it's like it's like it's Christian fascism. We're not going into the 19 kids and counting home and telling them they can't have 19 kids. But they're coming into our home with their sick, twisted minds, telling us we can't read books. They're telling us we can't have, safety in our communities the way we want to have it. Because the way they read the Second Amendment, and it's all part of how they're destroying democracy. Because in order to have a functioning democracy, you can't be at each other's throats like this. You can't think of each other as the enemy. He writes, preventing law-abiding citizens with ordinary self-defense needs. Where the fuck do you live? I lived here my entire life. We don't need, nobody ever, I don't see anybody who needs a gun to go to Walmart. Even though I would never be caught dead in a Walmart, but that's for different reasons. But, states' rights, except when they want to inflict their sickness on the country. And on the 1-month anniversary of having to identify children decapitated by AR-15s, via DNA. This is the ruling they unleash on the country, okay? And once again, how much longer? How much longer are we going to take it? We have to take this shit? So the Democrats will go out there and they won't call the Supreme Court illegitimate, and they'll talk about their outrage and shit. When they should. I wish they would listen to this show. They could leave out the curse words, but they need to get out in front of a camera and call this court illegitimate. This is illegitimate. The only reason we have a conservative, a fascist Supreme Court at this point is because of Moscow Mitch's dirty tricks. That's it. The filthy fascists don't give a shit about democracy. They don't give a shit that they receive fewer votes. They stood in the way of our president, who we elected to nominate Supreme Court justices, and Moscow Mitch put his fascist face in the way because of selfishness, because of money in politics. He was doing the bidding of his masters who want to destroy this country. They'll be fine because they will live behind the walls of their gated communities while we're out here in the Wild West, stepping over dead kids and women dying in back alley abortions, who can't even go to a doctor, legitimately, because they didn't get their GoFundMe page up in time. This is where we live because of an illegitimate, fascist, tyrannical minority. And the Democrats better start saying it without apology, like Keith Olbermann. Jesus Christ. So Justice Uncle Clarence Thomas wrote, New York's proper cause requirement violates the 14th Amendment. Fuck you. No, it doesn't. By preventing law-abiding citizens with ordinary self-defense needs from exercising their Second Amendment right to bear arms in public for self-defense. Where's the well-regulated militia in that sentence? From exercising their Second Amendment rights. But because of these cowards who can't go shopping without an AR-15, we don't have the right to be safe in our person, places, and effects, or whatever the hell. We can't just walk around because we might get shot. Going to church, going to school, going to the super fucking market. Prevent law-abiding citizens. That's why we have cops. Who needs the cops then, right? Maybe we should defund the police and everybody just fucking fend for themselves. Law-abiding with ordinary self-defense needs? How come we didn't need you, Uncle Clarence? You know, we've been getting along just fine for 100 years dealing with our shit. And then here comes the illegitimate fascist Supreme Court, the minority death cult, to pour guns on the situation. When nobody asked them. It's like what not Uncle Clarence, but like the illegitimate Justice, whatever, Roberts. Nobody asked him to wipe his ass with the Voting Rights Act. This is what they do. And then what do Democrats do? Oh, well, I guess we just go along with it. I guess we just go slide into fascism. And, let's talk about bipartisan some more. Instead of what needs to be said. Like, this is enough. Enough is enough with this tyrannical minority. They receive fewer votes. They are illegitimate. This is a disgrace. The scumbags who went along with Moscow Mitch's coup against the court, just like they did in Nazi Germany, right? This is what the Nazis did. They stuffed the courts to invalidate democracy. And they didn't have to go along with the coup. That's what the Democrats should say. They don't have any honor. Justice Kavanaugh has no honor. Amy Coney Barrett, no honor. Gorsuch, these people have no honor. Because if you don't have to go to just like the minority of Republicans that stood in the way of the coup, of the con man's coup, the con man invited them to a coup. And they said no thank you. So when somebody invites you to a coup, you don't got to show up. You don't have to go. So when Moscow Mitch called the handmaid and she had to check with her husband if she could go along with the coup, I guess she got the okay. But she didn't have to go along with the coup. Neither did Beer Bong Brett, but obviously he's got issues. He's sick. He's been involved with this minority death cult for his entire rotten life. Sitting in the ivory tower, waiting for the chance to lord over us and turn this democracy, this struggling, multiracial, democratic republic who's walking slowly, trying to be a more perfect union, to promote the general welfare. Every step we take in that direction, he couldn't have it. These fascists cannot have it. They can't have unity. They can't have, fuck e pluribus unum. They want everybody shooting each other. What do you mean? Exercising their Second Amendment right. Well, don't we have a right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness? Well, my right kind of doesn't want to be shot in a supermarket. My right, I don't want to see kids dead. I don't want to see tiny coffins with airbrushed TikTok pages on them. It's so disgusting. These people are disgusting. And then they have the fucking balls, to walk around like they have something to boast about. You know what I mean? Like these filthy, average Republican racists posting, don't vote Democrat, keep voting Democrat. Fuck you. You better believe it, I will. You should be ashamed. You say, with all the shame that they're up to, I guess the problem I feel, is that they don't have shame. They don't have the capacity for it. The shame is theirs. But they have to project it. They inflict it outwards. And I'm sick of it, man. I am sick of the Democrats who do not fight enough. We're here because they don't fight. There are some, it's not a complete lost cause. But of course, we have the money in politics. And then we have the Kristen Sinema, Joe Manchin problem, which is an extension of money in politics. These filthy traitors. And then we have the corporate media problem, which is all about, they understand there's a coup happening, but let's go back to the inflation. It's like 3 stories. Inflation, coup, and gas prices. Well, I think the coup is a little bit more important. Because when the Republicans get a hold of us, it's over, booby. We're going to have inflation, gas prices, and a very large pool of poor to exploit. That'll be the rest of it. That'll be the middle class. This is what they're up to. Meaning there is no middle class. When they get a hold of us, it's over. I mean, the middle class is already below the 50% of the population. They're literally running on destroying Social Security and Medicare. Am I wrong? No. I wish I was. Right. Terry says, Democrats aren't prepared for this insanity. We're hanging by a thread. They're not. If that's what it feels like. They're not prepared. It's like living in denial. They are living in denial somehow. They think that modeling good behavior, appealing to them somehow, right? Appealing to their patriots. They're not fucking patriots. They're not. They're not capable. If they were capable, if the Supreme Court was legitimate, if they were decent people, they wouldn't be on the Supreme Court because they would not have participated in the coup. So say that, Democrats. Am I wrong? No. Am I right? Am I wrong? Uh-oh. Look at Tara Jr. Isn't he good? I'm just trying to open that email I sent to myself. Look, it's Ray. Ray. Where'd he go? Ray, honey. You little bastard. He's like, Meh. Ray. All right, forget you. I already forgot you. I forgot you. All about you. Yeah, so we have, that's what drives me crazy too. The mainstream media. They are almost guaranteeing, as if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, that Republicans are taking out what is going to happen in the midterms if Republicans. It's like as if it's already happened, and they start arresting the January 6th here. They turn the tables as if this is normal. That's why the the mainstream media should not constantly recycle the gas story, the inflation story. There's so many other stories that need attention. It's like there's 3 stories. It's January 6th, gas prices and inflation. January 6th. Oh, in Ukraine, right? I mean, that's it. And then it's just around and around and around. Gas prices are up. Gas prices are up. They have never been this high. They've never been. What's Joe Biden going to do? It's going to... Well, I have a degree, a master's degree in communications, believe it or not. And the media it's called agenda setting. They have the ability to set the agenda for the conversation, what people are talking about. They can talk about just about anything. Like, for example, that's why fascists in general take over the media. That's the first thing they do. But what were they talking about on Fox News? I think Tucker Carlson was talking about, instead of course, they're not focusing on January 6th. He was talking about men again. Men are supposed to be under attack. Instead of tanning his balls, he was saying how now I think there's low nicotine. The tobacco industry is lowering the nicotine content in cigarettes, and this is somehow making men into wussies. These people are sick. You understand? Like Tucker Carlson, especially, really. He's a man. He's telling everybody how to be a man. when he is the opposite of a man. I mean, whatever a man, the values that are associated with being a man. That's, you think of Tucker Carlson. What is that? Man, nerd. What is a man? I mean, there was traditionally female qualities, right? Not that, and there's obviously overlap. But men are supposed to be protective and strong, and what else? Well, I guess that's it, right? I'm only kidding. But is that Tucker Carlson? He's manly? He's like the worst part of men. All the worst things that you can associate with being a man. You know, just like there are bad things about women or female characteristics, right? That's him. Who is it? I mean, would somebody just make out with him already? Some man make out with him? Or make love to him? Somebody take his face in their hands and just put something in his mouth and shut him up while giving him the love he needs of a man. And the mainstream media, it's like, now I'm glad they're talking about fascism. They say the F word, and we have some people who appear on mainstream media that get it right. And who else? I think it was Eddie Glass was on one of the mainstream media, you know, one of the Morning Joe or something. And he was saying there is no other story but the coup. There should be no other story. And this is we're in red alert here. But it doesn't matter. Then they'll go, let's go to Kornacki and the big board and then they'll go into us. Oh, this is the other thing. I saw on MSNBC a Kornacki and some other pundit talking about DeSantis as if he's a normal politician. When DeSantis is worse than Trump, and we know that. They're all like, oh, people are fleeing Trump, and they're going to DeSantis. DeSantis is going to run for president. DeSantis is a fascist. If we think Trump is bad, DeSantis is the end of democracy. Period. He's not as incompetent as Trump. He reminds me of it's like Julius Caesar and Augustus. I mean, even though it's an insult to Julius Caesar to relate him to Trump, but it's sort of like that. That's part of the reason he was assassinated. He was not deferential to the Senate. He didn't play the game. And then you get Augustus, who learned the lessons of what Julius Caesar what did wrong. And by the time he was done, the Republic was dead. Completely. Even though if we went back in time, we would, and we interviewed average Romans, they would say they're living in a republic. Absolutely. They didn't know. They didn't call Augustus emperor. They didn't start calling him emperor until 200 years after his death. They called him the first citizen. That was the role, like a president. Now, just like we call Putin president. He's not a president. Xi in China is not a president. They call him president. And by doing that, it devalues the word president. It mixes it up. It's like president is now a king. You think when Trump, if he overthrows democracy and makes himself president again, despite receiving fewer votes, he's going to call himself president, and that will be synonymous with king. And then we'll have, just like in the Roman Republic, we'll have the obsequious Republican Senate bestowing all kinds of honors and powers and making it all look legitimate through the veneer of legality. But by the time they're done, it'll be dead. The Republic will be dead. And we'll still have elections, just like the Romans still had elections. And they'll go through the motions. They went through the motions like we'll go through the motions. So I'm sick of it. Like even Steve Bannon, the clip I played earlier in the show of him saying it's going to be a blowout, like 1932. Why aren't they talking about that? Saying this guy's a fascist. He's openly plotting a coup right out there in the open on his podcast. And here he is saying we're going to be like Nazis. It's going to be like the beautiful 1932 where the Nazis became the majority. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But here's another story corporate media doesn't report. Well, this is also from Newsweek. Who wrote this? Jack Beresford. The disparity between the charges incurred by patients in the U.S. compared with other countries was thrown into sharp focus after a man who underwent surgery and spent a week in an Italian hospital without insurance shared a screenshot of his total bill. The Italian national, posting it to Reddit as by Joy, that's the name I guess he went by, told Newsweek he suffered a series of bone, ligament, and tendon injuries around one of his knees while skiing with friends in the Alps. I was immediately brought to the ER. I got an MRI and was then scheduled for surgery, he said. By Joy said he went on to spend a week in the hospital, and while he recovered, he also undergone physiotherapy. That's what it says. Undergone. He has also undergone physiotherapy since the accident in Italy. At the time, he feared his medical costs would be substantial, as he had no form of insurance when the accident occurred. However, when he eventually got his bill, he was delighted and relieved to see it was only 53 euros, which equates to around $56.53. Are you fucking kidding me? An injury like this is already a very annoying thing to happen to you, and I'm very glad I didn't have to pay absurd amounts of money because of it, he said. I'm very happy to be a European citizen. Byjoy said he decided to share a screenshot of the bill to Reddit after seeing an extremely high medical bill from a U.S. movie. The post was subsequently upvoted around 88,000 times. Several stories have hit the headlines in recent months, detailing instances in which U.S. citizens have been left facing huge bills, whether they are insured or not. One woman was hit with a six-figure bill after initially being told that her surgery would just be over $1,000. In that instance, she was able to appeal, probably because of the publicity. But and she appealed and won, but others have not been so fortunate. One woman was billed $600 for her son, who lived only 3 minutes and received no care. Meanwhile, imagine that. Isn't that nice? You know, you have a bing, oh, he's dead. Bing, bing, cha-ching. Here's your bill, bitch. Pay up. Fuck you. Pay me. Fuck your dead kid. Pay me. Meanwhile, a thread detailing the scary cost of U.S. health insurance went viral back in April. Little wonder, then, that a survey conducted by Pew Research in 2020 found that 36% of Americans were in favor of a single national government program for health insurance, while 26 called for a mix of private and government programs because people are dumb. They're fucking stupid, and the media makes them so. They're not watching Tarabuster. They're not listening to Tarabuster, unfortunately. They're listening to the mainstream media that's like telling them everyone loves private insurance, which nobody loves private insurance. Nobody. No fucking body. Tell me about it, okay? Nobody does. People like going to the doctor. That's what they like. If we had a national health care program, guess what? You can go to the doctor. You would go to any doctor you wanted to. They would send you to get any tests. There would be no co-payment, co-insurance, in-network, out-of-network. There would not be any bullshit. Deductible. None of that. It's freedom. That's what freedom is. That's what a e pluribus unum means. That's what a fucking free society means. Being able to live this life. And we got each other's backs, you know? It doesn't mean that we get to walk around with assault weapons. That's freedom while people die without health care. Or in back alley abortions. This is so sick. This country is sick. But worse than that, it's stupid. Nobody wants this. They're dumb. People say, 26 said they want a mix of private and government programs. Well, because you don't know any better. Guess what? Because here's the other thing. If we had a national healthcare system, you want to buy insurance? Go right ahead, booby. They have private insurance all over the world. You can buy extra shit. You can have a private hospital room. You can, buy, if you want it, go get it. But insurance, the other thing when Bernie had the debate with Miss Lindsey Graham, or Lady Graham, as the rent boys he rents calls him. He says everybody supposedly loves their private insurance, and he tweeted that Bernie admits that your taxes will go up under Medicare for all. This is how stupid Republicans are. And they count on the stupidity. Well, guess what? If your taxes go up, they're not going to go up. If you pay $10,000 a year for your insurance, which is low, by the way, and God forbid you get sick. That's the other thing about private insurance. This is the problem. We are the only country that has medical bankruptcies. That is abhorrent. But the heartening thing on the when Lady Graham tweeted that, how Bernie admits taxes will go up, because he knows that people are just triggered. It's like communities of color that triggers them. It's taxes go up, trigger. The devil's in the details. Well, they're not going up more if you're already paying out of your ass for private insurance, and then God forbid if you have to use it, you're coming out ahead. If your taxes go up, even if they go up 10%, which is not part of Bernie's plan anyway. You come out ahead. No and no other expenses. You pay your taxes, and if you get sick, you go to a doctor. And then if you need medicine, you get it. That's how it works. No bills come in the mail. And God forbid you get sick. This is the other thing with private insurance. God forbid you actually need it. I hate Republicans. I really do. Because the problem is we don't have a national health care system because of them, because of racism. It comes down to that, as usual. I got mine. And they don't want to share. They're incapable of sharing a society with people who have darker pigment. And this is what it comes down to. It has always been this way. And we fucked each other royally. And they used it to trigger the morons. That's why I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of everything. We have so many problems. And the Democrats don't fight. That's why I wish they would listen to this show. Because the way it has to be presented, yes, it's logical. Obviously, we're on the right side of everything. Medicare for all is better. The United States, only the United States stands alone without guaranteeing health care as a right. And this is part of the reason this country is divided. And the fact is, the United States healthcare non-system, your money or your life, that's the system, ranks dead last or next to dead last in all positive measures. Compared to the rest of the world, we rank dead last. So we pay more, we get less, and we leave millions out. So how stupid is that? And then the Republicans are like, we got the best system in the world. And these fuckers, they just repeat it. Dumbasses. Because they're dumb. And racist. And that's really what it comes down to. So, let's see. If any further reminding was needed, by Joy's bill provided it, with many Americans on social media reacting with despair at the contrast in charges. Glassman88 commented, "That is so amazing. Here in the U.S., I was in the ER for 2 hours, and I was charged $14,900 before insurance. My out-of-pocket was $2,900, and then they want the total balance in 12 months. 90 Brabas said, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, I can't imagine living in a country like that, to be honest. I would get stressed every time I got a fever. Yeah, that's how it is. That's why this country sucks. That's why the life expectancy is going down and people are dying by death by despair. Because there's none of this. There's no feeling of we're in this together. We're not. And then these fuckers just say, here, guns for all and health care for none. And then they whine and say, the real problem's mental health. But I don't see any mental health, universal mental health plan. You know? They don't have any, they have nothing except greed and selfishness. According to them, greed, selfishness will set you free. And if it doesn't, we'll kick your ass with a tiki torch. And this is the problem. The Democrats, stop pining for these fucking monsters like battered spouses pining for an abuser. But, of course, the reason we have money in politics, we don't even have Democrats. One of the things, Democrats all agree, healthcare, everybody should get health care, right? But then you have Biden talking about, he wants expand Obamacare. Which, the whole thing with Obamacare, that's the other problem. Obamacare leaves millions behind. How is this acceptable? And that's Democrats. Oh, we want to we want to expand it to millions more. Well, it still leaves millions behind. And we want to expand it to millions more, admitting that it leaves millions behind. So this is better. You know, we have been conditioned to just be like, okay, we're a country where we leave millions behind. Never mind that whole e pluribus unum bullshit or general welfare bullshit. We leave millions behind, and we call that freedom. It's abominable. It's an abomination. And trust me, when the future looks back and they look at this show, which they will, hello from hell. I'm dead, but I'm not in hell. I mean, hell being the present United States 2020. I don't know where I'll be. I'll be a part of a star like the rest of us, but or not. I just want to say we tried. We understand. We understand that it sucks. Trust me. Not everybody's an asshole. Not everybody's a dumbass. Where some of us are actually capable of functioning in a democracy. We are trying to make this country live up to its founding promises. We're trying, but the greed, that's it. Greed is the poison. Greed of the few, and then they tickle all the other failings in the human condition. So how do you have a country? I mean, that's even the irony of the filthy fascist Republicon saying "Make America Great Again," when they can't even make America good. They're not even good. How do you take greed, selfishness, and wrap it up in a superior moral justification? But that's what they do, of course. Yeah. I can't imagine living in a country like that. It breaks my heart when I read that. I would get stressed every time I got a fever. And another added, I had an ER bill that I was there for a total of 15 minutes, and the doctor said to just call my regular doctor for $1,000. I went to the ER for an infected abscess last year. I just had to get it lanced and drained. I was there for about 12 hours because I went in at night and had to wait to see the doctor the next day. The charge was $51,000. And I ended up owing about $4,500 out of pocket. I'm still paying it off. Now, how do you get ahead with that? You know, they're on I bet you we turn on the corporate media right now, there'd be a story about the gas prices. Everybody's worried about gas prices, but not about this. Not about health, wealth, mental health. You want to worry about mental health care? Stop stressing us out. But of course, we have kids going through live shooter drills while their parents can't go to the fucking doctor. So everybody's stressed. And then they're like, oh, gas prices, give me a Republican. Give me a break. Another commented, this makes me want to cry. I had a 3-month hospital stay and a major heart surgery, and thank God I had good insurance from my parents because the total was over $3 million. I had to pay $15,000. God, the U.S. sucks at health care. That's not the only thing it sucks at. It just sucks at unity. It sucks at understanding. that greed shouldn't be the only American value, and that's what it is. And I wish the Democrats would talk like that, because if they did, they would win. You know? If we had Joe Biden has to be Joe Biden. He is what he is, you know, corn pop and all. He's part of the old school. But all of the Democrats, like Nancy Pelosi, like go away. And then we have Democrats who are, I mean, who's that one that his name just went out of my head? The one they don't even agree on health care. They're like, I'm a big union supporter, and I don't want, and unions have negotiated these health care plans, which is basically saying that I got mine, sucks to be you. Oh, well. How is that acceptable for a Democrat to say that? We're all conditioned to be, just, oh, well, fuck it. Oh, I hope it's not me. But it's all of us. That's the thing. We all are affected by it. I don't see, but yeah, if you could think you're not. That's why death by despair. That's why we have these fucking morons walking around with tiki torches. Because we're not in this together. And Democrats that's the way they have to present it. Healthcare isn't just right morally and economically a sound, more feasible and more, basically it's better because you get more and you leave no one behind, and nobody has to go beg on GoFundMe, but it's a patriotic imperative. It is e pluribus unum in action, and that's how it has to be presented and fought for. And thank God for Bernie, because he's the one that never gave up, never stopped talking, because he's right. Everybody knows it. But the system is so entrenched with corruption and greed and stupidity and propaganda. That's why you got to become a patron. I'm not kidding. I mean, I say it in whatever, trying to be funny, but I really am not kidding. Media is ground zero. If we don't get the word out, even this little dinky show, it reaches people. I get emails. I've met people, you guys, that I would never have met. And I do believe that it matters. We're making a difference, slowly but surely. And otherwise, we don't have a chance. We don't, because they'll go online and they'll fall into some bullshit on Diamond and Silk, talking about they're just same old fucking greedy human shields for greed. That's what they are. But the Democrats, it's just amazing to me, how stupid. But you know what? I guess it's not stupidity. It's also it's a calculating way, to behave, because they have to feed at the trough of greed too, and that should be unacceptable. But anyway, that's why the message it's like they have to walk this middle ground of sucking on the corporate teat while throwing some bones to the plebs. And it shouldn't. It's enough. I don't understand. Yeah, really. How much do you have to hate yourself as a human being to accept this? And as Americans, all Americans should be outraged. But it's the racism and the propaganda. But they should be outraged to say that, wait a minute, there is an industry that it makes buku bucks denying people health care, and they consistently rank dead last in all positive measures, meaning healthy lives. Let me see, outcomes. Oh, let me look this up. Yeah, 'cause I used to know it off the top of my head. U.S. healthcare, because they do this assessment every year. U.S. healthcare ranks last in all positive measures. There we go. Yeah, Commonwealth Fund. Let's see. Every year, U.S. healthcare. It's like here's 2021. I mean, you could just go back. There's all these articles. Every year they do a ranking. U.S. health system ranks last among high-income countries in global health. U.S. spends more of its gross domestic product on healthcare than any other high-income country, yet ranks last in access to care, administrative efficiency, equity, and healthcare outcomes, according to an analysis by the nonprofit Commonwealth Fund. The rankings are based on surveys conducted in 2017, 18, and 20, and represent samples of patients and primary care physicians in Australia, Canada, France, Germany, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, the UK, and the United States. So of all those countries, now it used to be that we ranked next to dead last in some of the measures, but now we rank dead last in all the measures. That's what it seems. Unreal. So we spend more, we get less, we leave millions behind, and yet these fascist fucks dare say that we have the best health care system in the world. Well, we have the best. Frankly, that's it. We have the best anything if you're rich. If you're rich, you can get anything you want. But it's not the best health care in the world if you have to pay off your medical bills or declare medical bankruptcy, or you delay care because you only wait to the last minute. Now, there are 65, it used to be, as far as I remember, less. I remember quoting a statistic, 35,000 a year needlessly died without health care, but I've heard Bernie quoting 65,000 a year dying without health care. So it's gotten worse. And that's, how do we allow that? You know? No wonder. And then the thing that gets me is then you'll hear Democrats and Republicans lamenting our divided country. Well, we're divided because you divide us. We have been divided deliberately by greed. Let's see. Oh, here's a giant trash fire. Woman breaks down because of scary cost of U.S. health care. And this is another one? Wait. A Twitter thread claiming to offer a sobering breakdown of how health insurance in the U.S. works has gone viral. The thread was posted by a woman writing under the handle InfoSecTaylor and has been retweeted over 23,000 times. According to the CDC, when it comes to healthcare, an estimated 11.5% of the U.S. adult population is uninsured, which equates to around 31 million Americans. If that number Yet, if the numbers detailed in InfoSec's viral thread are correct, it's not difficult to see why projection of this kind is unattainable for some. Protection, not projection. Writing on Twitter, the woman said she was posting the thread because she's aware that most of her non-U.S. friends probably were not aware of the country's health system, of the U.S. health system. She wrote, I realize that my non-U.S. friends probably don't know how U.S. insurance works. So let's say your employer offers insurance. They pay a portion, and then you pay a portion. For a family, the employee pays an average about $400 a day per pay cycle, or $10,400 a year. Hold on, it's opening. This does not mean that all your medical care is then covered by insurance. Nope, not even close. Most doctor visits have a copay, meaning you pay this to even be seen. It's anywhere between $200 or $20 to $200 depending on emergencies. That's absolutely true. Insurance also requires you pay a deductible before they start to kick in. So let's say your deductible is $1,000. That means for each visit, you owe this $1,000 before they start covering. But then they negotiate with hospitals. So an MRI out of pocket might cost $5,000, but through insurance only $400. So you pay $400 until you reach your deductible. So let's say your employer. Oh yeah, I wrote that. I read that. They're just repeating it. And but that's where things get complicated again. Infotech Taylor says insurance companies will often negotiate. Yes, we know that. After a while, there is a maximum out of pocket for each year, which means you pay $20,000 out of pocket for all these little visits, and then insurance will cover anything for the year at 100%. So God forbid you get very sick and can't, well, let's say you can't work, you still got to pay. Let's say you need cancer treatment or some chronic disease. You could reach your max, and then it zeroes out again. So you owe $20,000, and then you owe another $20,000. It's fucking unconscionable. This is why people declare bankruptcy. Oh, but insurance doesn't cover everything. They agree on certain exclusions, like maybe they don't cover an ambulance ride or only partially cover major dental if something happens. Oh, they typically don't cover regular dental or eye care at all because you have to buy different insurance for that. She claims there's also something called max out of pocket. She claims, no, that's what happens, which means that these out of pockets costs hit a certain figure. The insurance will cover the cost for the year. But again, it's not entirely straightforward. It's true. It's 100%. Absolutely true. And the insurance only negotiates with certain doctors and clinics. So if you don't use them, they only cover your care 50% instead of 80%, and the deductibles are higher. So you have two tiers of deductibles, but if you get hospitalized, the insurance might cover some part of the facility and nurses, but not the doctors or the anesthesiologists or the physical therapists or out of network. So you have to pay more without any say in the matter. And any medical facilities, even ERs, can just choose not to take your insurance. That's the truth. The woman warns that in an event someone is hospitalized, they might find that insurance covers the facilities and nurses, but not the doctor. Yes, they're just repeating what she said here in the article. Well, I don't understand why they're writing it like this. She also claims that some medical facilities can even choose not to take your insurance. What do you mean she also claims? You're a fucking writer. Why don't you do some research? It's not a claim. It's the truth. She also claims that's an easy thing to look up. Let's see. The doctor, Infotech Taylor alleges that the problems extend to prescriptions. That's the truth, and treatments with insurance companies about to step in and dictate care. So they say that, let's say you bang up your knee and need an MRI plus surgery. The doctor agrees and you agree, but the insurance company says no. You need to try physical therapy first. Oh yeah, that's happened. I told you about my sister who had 3 babies. My sister had 3 kids. She had to have C-sections for all her children. So she had 2 C-sections. Then she had her insurance. The 3rd baby, the insurance would not pay for the C-section. The doctor was like, "Well, we're just going in for the C-section because you've already had 2. We've been down this road." And the insurance company said they wouldn't approve it. And they said, "Just try. You got to just try to have it naturally." So she was in pain for 24 hours and the baby was stressed. Who cares, right? It's just fucking, who cares? You're just nothing to them. You're nothing but $1. They don't want to pay for your care. For all they give a shit, the baby dies. Until finally they approved the C-section, which is what the doctor wanted us to do right from the get-go. But it's about money. And it's immoral, is it unconscionable? Yeah, unconscionable, and it is not cost-effective. It's really the mark of self-loathing. Because I have to say, how much do we have to hate ourselves to let it continue? To defend this system? It's sick. It's like we are in a cult, of greed. And some of the dumbasses, they love it there. They're like, yes, the beatings will continue until morale improves. Give me my gun and let me go shoot something. So I don't remember how much it sucks living here. And the gas prices, gas prices, so high. Gas prices. Never mind, the corporate media never, ever digs in. Well, why is it everybody's so stressed out about gas? First of all, we talked about it on the last show, how we wouldn't even have to be here if not for Republicans. Because if we had continued with Carter's energy plan, we would have already been free from foreign oil and been on renewable energy systems primarily. Yet, okay, so Reagan kept us rolled us back and into being big oil's bitch. So, but there's no connection. Don't connect the dots. And what about, okay, let's, putting that aside, the fact that if the last time oil prices were this high, whatever it is, a barrel, gas prices were $2 less. So obviously the big oil companies are price gouging like the corporations are, and using this time, masking it as an excuse. But also, if we had a functioning middle class instead of one that was below 50% of the population, where 80% live paycheck to paycheck, which is not a middle class, by the way, people would be able to better traverse the ups and downs of the economy, But, of course, never. It's like they go after Biden as if, he can wave a magic wand and fix something in a worldwide economic crisis. And they don't ever dig in deep and say, well, why is it that if gas prices go $2 higher, everyone is struggling? People have to choose between, so they say, between, one thing, eating or whatever, or fucking gas, or, you know what I mean? So why aren't you talking about the the economic disparity, the income inequality, and upward immobility? If people were making living wages, they'd be able to get through this time. Oh, what do I know? I'm just doing a Tarabuster podcast. Am I wrong? Yes. Earl Thomas says, what did the White House used to have in common with McDonald's? A clown named Ronald. Absolutely. All right, I'm looking at the time. Guys, listen. Listen. Look at Tara Jr. Look how cute he is. Ray. Look, he's jealous. Wakes up. Tara Jr., hi, honey. Thank you, Terry. Terry says, you're not wrong, Tara. Ray. When I snap my fingers, sometimes he comes. Ray. He's fucking... It's a lost cause. All right. When I... let's see. Listen. We're going to meet back here tomorrow. And we're going to hang out again at our regularly scheduled time of liberal talk and hanging out. Liberal talk, hanging out on the right side of decency, dignity, humanity, democracy. Robin is funny. So fun. Robin says, so funny you call him by your name, Tara. I know. It's weird, isn't it? Because it seems he's a Tara to me. He's Tara. And sometimes I hear myself. I'm like, Tara, get in here. He is Tara Jr. Hey, Tara. See, he answers. He's my baby. That's my little Tara Jr. All right, guys. Thank you again, Jim and Irene and Richard W. and everyone on the chat and all of the patrons at patreon.com/TaraDevil. I really want to thank you. We will win. We will. We have a lot to do, though. We have a lot to talk about, and I want to thanks for getting the word out for the Tarabuster community, inviting your friends to listen to Tarabuster and keep on coming back because you're worth it. Work it, you're worth it. And we will win. And thank you Progressive Voices and APS Radio News and Rokfin.com and FYINation.com for hosting Tarabuster on your platforms. Please support the independent liberal media because without it, we're sunk. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, but we will meet back here. Let's hang out. It's a nice Friday night. Everybody get your coffee and chill out. Whatever else you want to put in your coffee, that's your choice. But I don't drink anymore or do drugs because I'm in recovery one day at a time. But I'm just saying, get your ass back here at around 8:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're good, Robin. Do not worry. We will win. My name is Tara Devil, and thank you so much for hanging out. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. Thank you so much. Yes, keep taking it a day at a time, Tara. I will. Thank you, Errol. We stick together. We win. And thank you all. Thank you, Jim and Irene and Richard and Haiku and Terry Taylor. And thank you, Haiku, for being the moderator. And thank you, Play Dave and Winston and Jonathan and Robin and Covert White Rabbit. Thank you so much, guys. Who else? Did I miss anybody? I hope not. If I did, I'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you, Els. And we stick together, we win. I'll see you. Lavender. Thank you, Lavender. And Winston. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.